Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Today is National Hot Wheels Redline Day. Now, in this day in history, in 1968, Hot Wheels released the original Sweet 16 cars, and the rest is history. My love for these cars goes back to that first day when they were released, and I have loved these cars ever since. And today we're going to do a restoration of a Hot Wheels Open Fire. Now, this is one of two cars in the Redline era that had 6 wheels. The other one being the 6-shooter. So we're going to take this car apart and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Now, in observance of National Redline Day, go ahead and grab your favorite adult beverage. Now, if it's in the morning, grab your coffee or whatever. But in the evening, watch this video again. Grab your favorite adult beverage and follow along. I've already got the car drilled apart. Now the engine itself has a post and the car in the back has a post. So we're going to go ahead and do the autopsy here. These cars are pretty hard to come by. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of them out there, but they charge an arm and a leg for them. This one here, the body's in pretty beat up shape as far as the finish and everything. Overall, the body's in good shape. It just, the paint doesn't look too good. Now, here it's got the 6 wheels. Now that wheel, the second set of wheels there in the front, believe it or not, was held on by a piece of tape inside the car. So I drilled it out and I pulled out this plastic piece that holds the 4 wheels, and then we'll come up with a way to hold the other set of wheels back in place. Now, all the wheels have cap-style wheels. They've got some stuff wrapped around the axles. We'll cut that out. The body or the base is going to have to be polished up and cleaned up. The engine's going to have to be cleaned up. Now, this post here, when I went to take it out, the bottom part of it snapped off. So we're going to have to do some kind of a repair on there. So that'll be some pretty good information there. So we'll get that fixed. Now I'm going to use the 1-72 screws. I'm going to put this piece of copper tubing or brass tubing over the post, and we're going to put that in place to extend the post so we can drill into it and screw into it to put the car back together. But that'll be a pretty good little bonus tip. It'll fit in there just nice. We'll fill that up with super glue or maybe super glue and baking soda. Here's the interior. We'll have to clean that out with soapy water and a toothbrush. Windshield's in pretty rough shape. We're going to have to sand that down and dip it in the Pledge Revive or the Gauzy to get that fixed up. All right, we've done the autopsy. Let's go ahead and start our restoration. Here we've got the body. We're going to put it in the embalming fluid. I get it coated up really good, and then I'm going to put it on this tray and then let it set. Shake off all your excess because you don't need that. And just let it sit until you see the paint bubbled off. When it does, clean it up, scrub it down with Zep degreaser, and get ready for polishing. Alright, I've done all that. I've cleaned it up with Zep degreaser. Now we're going to use the flitz. Now, if you check in the comment section, there is a link to the Flitz webpage where you will get 20% off of any Flitz product that you buy off the Flitz webpage. So check out that link in the comments and use the code word GRAVEYARD to get your special 20% offer. Now that applies to any product that you purchase off the Flitz website. So that's a super great deal. Not just the polish, but all kinds of cleaning supplies, etc. that Flitz offers. So please check it out. Get yourself your polishing tool, your Dremel, or whatever brand you have. Get you some polishing bonnets and use that Flitz and bring it up to a high luster shine. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. Now on the top of the roof here, there's a lot of little pits and scratches and stuff like that. Even after I polished it later on, I went back in with different levels of sandpaper, started with about 800, worked my way up to 1,000, then 1,500, then 2,000, etc. and got rid of a lot of those pits. But you got to take your time with it and then come back in and polish it with the flitz, and you'll get yourself a super fine shine, which we did on this car, and it turned out excellent. Make sure you cover the entire car, and if you need a little bit more polish, go ahead and put some on. This car was modeled after an AMC Gremlin, or American Motors Corporation Gremlin. They just designed it to where it had 6 wheels instead of 4. At least the Hot Wheels folks did. Like I said, notice the pits and scratches on the roof. I did go back in and sand those down and polish them up, and they turned out fantastic. Man, I love this Flitz product. And I know I keep talking about it every time I do these videos, but folks, the reason I do these videos is so you know what products to get to enhance your own diecast hobby. So go check out that comment in Flitz. Go ahead and copy the link, post it into your web browser, and then go shopping on flitz.com and use the code word graveyard. Now let's go ahead and work on the engine. I polished that up. I polished up the base. Let's move on. It's time for the glass. Here I've got some fine sandpaper. We're going to sand down as many of the scratches as we possibly can. The windshield's gouged up pretty good. Now, you might be able to find some plastic replacements on Facebook or on eBay especially, but check those out. I had a hard time finding a replacement windshield for the open fire, so I went ahead and decided to go ahead and polish this one up the best I can. Now again, like I said, let's go ahead and do the repair on this post. I used a file, and I filed a notch in there to go over the little notches there in the engine. See how that fits really nice right there. We're going to super glue that in place, and then once that settles, we're going to super glue the brass tube. We're going to fill it up. Now there really wasn't enough space to pack any baking soda in there to make it super hard, so I just filled it with super glue, and that worked out pretty good. Now you may have to file down that brass tube in order to get it to fit properly, but this one was just the right length, so it worked out pretty good. This is going to be a great repair. I love these cars. These are fantastic, but like I said, there's plenty of them out there, but people that have them try and charge you an arm and a leg to purchase these cars, so it's really tough. And you don't want to spend 40, 50, 60 bucks, even more. Like I've seen these cars go for over $100, and it's absolutely ludicrous. But hey, if you're willing to pay it, they're out there. Like I said, super glue that in place, squeeze that down, put a little bit of accelerator on it. Now there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie on doing a post repair. Then you'll fill up that tube with super glue and let that harden, and you'll have something to drill into. Now here's the windshield. I've sanded it down the front and the back, and we're going to dip it in the Pledge Revive. Now I love Gauzy. Gauzy is a fantastic product, but it is kind of on the expensive side. Pledge Revive, you get a great big bottle, and it lasts you a long time. So that's a really good bargain. I mean, you get a bottle for $6, and it lasts you quite a bit, so it's a great deal. Dip it in there, wick off the excess, and then go ahead and cover it with a plastic cover, like I've got one of these little Tupperware containers, or Rubbermaid ones, flipped upside down. Cover it so the dust bunnies don't get on there, and let it sit for a minimum of an hour. Let it harden. I'd let it sit longer. Now we're going to paint the car. I'm going to use Spectre Flame Red that I got from the Redline shop. John at the Redline shop has fantastic products there. He's got the famous Spectre Flame paints. He's got replacement wheels. He's got some parts in stock there. He's got decals. Check out the Redline shop for your restoration needs for your Redline cars. Now make sure you get all the underside of the car, up in the fender wells, up inside the body, etc. Again, I've decided to spray this with Spectre Flame Red. Now, put on your tack coats. Just put a light mist coat around the entire car, and then when that's done, let it set for about 15 minutes. That'll give it time to start to to solidify and harden, and it will give any other paint you spray on something to hold on to. So let that set for about 15 minutes and then come back in and hit it with some saturation coats. Now the more paint you put on, the darker the color is going to be, so keep that in mind. Here we've got the interior parts. We've got the wheels. Now all 6 of these wheels are the cap style wheels. The 4 in the front are medium-sized cap size wheels, and the 2 in the back are large cap size wheels. So we're going to go ahead and get these off and put some brand new meats on the car all the way around. Get your razor blade, work it over to the little lip or the edge on there, give your razor blade a twist, and these wheels will come off. Some are a little tougher than others, but it is what it is. Take your time and be careful, because if you press on them too hard, you could bend the axle. Now I also got these wheels from the Redline shop. I love the quality of these wheels. They're absolutely fantastic, folks. So if you need replacement wheels, hit up the Redline shop and give John a holler and tell him Diecast Graveyard sent you. Now the other thing, please, when you're out there and you're watching these cars from National Redline Day, folks, this isn't a competition per se. This is just a bunch of diecast guys that are getting together on the same day and doing a restoration for National Redline Day. But please do a search and check out some of the other folks that are doing these builds. Now, I'll name a few offhand. You've got Xavier at Diecast Show Customs. You've got Jeff at 164 Revival. You got Keith at Outlaw Speed Shop. The Three Blind Mice, you've got Jim Silva, who put on this year's build. You've got Paul at Fat Guy Productions. You've got George at Hodges Hot Wheels and Diecast. And you've got Lee at Time Riders Wee Little Cars. Hit up Ron at Somo Diecast. Check out Cole at Kuda's Diecast Customs. Check out the Diecast Pirate. There's all kinds of folks that are participating in these builds, guys. These builds. You've got Scott Turner up there at Southpaw Diecast. Check them out. These guys do some fantastic work. All right, let's get these wheels secure and get the car together. Here's the body. Now look at the roof that I sanded down. That turned out fantastic. Here's the base. I got that super glue back in. We detailed up the front and the back with a Sharpie marker. That looks fantastic with the new tires. Here's the engine, polished up and with the repair. That turned out great. Here's the windshield that we dipped in the Pledge Revive. That turned out pretty good for a used windshield. I was happy with that, and I didn't have to buy one. Here's the interior, all cleaned up and ready to go. Let's put it together, and let's have our reveal. Here's what we started with, a Hot Wheels Open Fire. Now, again, this car was designed after the American Motors Corporation Gremlin. It's a beautiful car. Now, the colors on these cars were limited. So when I did my research on this car, I found out that red was one of the colors. So that's why I picked the red. And if you're doing a restoration and you've got some toning on the car, some scratches, sometimes using the darker colors will mask those imperfections. And that's another reason that I decided to go with a darker color. So we took the car apart completely. We did our autopsy on the car. We replaced the wheels. We polished up the base. We polished up the car. We polished up the engine. We polished up the glass after we sanded it down and dipped it in the Pledge Revive. We used the Spectre Flame paint and wheels from the Redline shop, and we used Flitz. And here's what we got to. Look at how beautiful this restoration came out. Now, this car would be fantastic in anyone's collection. Cheers to National Redline Day, Mattel and the Hot Wheels Corporation for introducing these cars back to us and putting the monkey on my back for the rest of my life. Thank you very much, Mattel. No, only kidding. I love these cars, and thank you, Mattel, very much, and all the designers like Larry Wood and all the other folks that design these cars. I want to do a special shout to Tom Daniel, who one of my favorite cars is the Red Baron, and this man does some fantastic designs and has done fantastic designs over history. Tom Daniel, cheers to you, sir. Like I said, folks, check out the other builds by the other guys. Do a search for National Redline Day, and you won't be disappointed. This was a great day. I really enjoyed this very, very much, and I got a lot more builds coming up here, some really special ones. We got the Four Horsemen build coming up at the end of the month, and we got a bunch of other ones. My name is Paul with Diecast Graveyard on National Redline Day. Cheers.